Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Trap, a Bears podcast by a Bears fan. I'm your host, Terry, and today doing a recap of our Week 8 loss against the Los Angeles Chargers. So let me start off by saying this whole episode, this recap, is about context. One of my professors, I love the saying, he says, cream, context rules everything around me. And we have to keep everything in context because I think when we speak about hot takes, when we speak about hyperbole, people going to extremes, it's all because people want to take things out of context. And today, I want to keep that in focus. Overall, because I'm not going to spend too much on this exact game, but I'll say that overall, we are a competitive team. And I'm talking about the Nagy, Trubisky, Khalil Mack era. This is what I felt last year going into it. This is what I felt after last year. And as much as people have hopes, I feel like we're a competitive team. And I like to put things in tiers and whatnot. A competitive team is below a contender. A contender is somebody you expect to be in the playoffs without question. And then you expect to have about a 50-50 chance to get to the Super Bowl. A competitive team is a team that if everything clicks right, they should get to the playoffs. And in the playoffs, you never know what can happen. But that's where I put us. We're a competitive team. Because I would say we can capitalize on opportunities sometimes on both sides of the ball. Most time defense, but sometimes we will capitalize on opportunities, but not every single time. And I would say we don't always create opportunities by enforcing our will on teams. That's more elite team type stuff. So for me, I look at us and I'm like, again, if things are clicking right, we can scratch, we can compete, we can have a football game. But last year, we had so much success, and not just success, but success right after having so much failure that everybody went to an extreme about how good we were. And the thing was, I said it before the season even started, we have an easy schedule. This is one of the easier schedules for us this year. And then on top of that, what no one could predict, which I don't like doing predictions, the NFC North fell off a cliff last year. And that was what looks like just an aberration on the trend. And so they definitely have bounced back as a whole division. And so last year you just had the NFC North just way worse than I expected them to be, injuries and all those different things. But then on top of that, we had an easy schedule, and we got to where we got with the Eagles. And guess what? We had a football game. We scratched to the end, exactly what I mean. That's the type of team we are. And so you fast forward to this year, now you look at the context. The schedule is a lot tougher than it was. The NFC North in the division is not the same as it was last year. These guys are winning. And now you look at the Bears, and all of a sudden, it's not the same type of thing. And so that's what I feel we are. I feel Nagy, as I said before he came in, that he was a play caller for way less than a year. He didn't have a lot of experience, but I think he has good ideas. He's got good energy. I liked all that. And I think that it's going to take some time for him to learn to be a head coach. Trubisky, the same. Now, I will say up front, Trubisky has not progressed the way I expected him to. But there's that as well. Khalil Mack was a game changer. And as I said this year, we still have a top 10 defense, even though we're not perfect. The same things I've been talking about since before last season are the same things I'm talking about now. Lack of pass rush, definitely the corner speed, and all those different things. So anyway, I think I have a great idea of what we are, so today didn't really surprise me. All right, so with that being said, let's get to each section. The offense. Off the top, I would say I give the offense a B minus today. I'll give him a solid B minus. And then as far as MVP, I go David Montgomery. So let me dig into this. because I already know what the surface level is about to say. We ran the ball more. Look how much better we were. And again, I am in favor of balance. But the fact that you run the ball in of itself is not an answer. Just because you say, oh, run is the answer, no, pass is the answer. No, it's much deeper. Of course, you got all types of different runs. You got the defense, all that. So the context with our theme today is the Chargers were a bad rush defense. They're 25th or 6th in the league. And so on top of that, you're talking about Chargers defense that's missing a lot of starters. So coming into it, this isn't the Chargers that we, or at least I was expecting, and coming into the season. And so in context, we did better, which is fine. But I give the MVP to David Montgomery because he made a lot happen with a little. And again, we can run the exact same play. It's up to execution. I got all these people arguing with me. It's so stupid to me. It's like all these people argue with me. And when I say execution over scheme, it's 1,000% execution over scheme. If there was one scheme that was right, every team would run it. Not to mention, we can run the exact same play against the Saints and run it against the Chargers, and it's going to have two different results. And because it's all about context, it's about who you're going against. And so while we did run the ball more frequently, I don't think that was a catalyst that just made us better at running the ball. But it does give Dave Montgomery opportunities. And so there's a lot of times where we didn't get crap. Like, we didn't get any movement. It was bad. And that's when you could see Nagy and those people going away from the run. But Dave Montgomery made a lot happen with a little. And so I definitely give him a lot of credit. And again, I've always been a big fan of him coming out of the draft process. A lot of people gave me flack because I didn't say the words they liked to hear about him when I broke him down. But I said he was like one of the guys that I rated as like a gem. And so anyway, he made a lot happen with a little. And so I think that's more indicative of the success than the fact that we just ran it. I mean, even the big run he had with the power play, it's all in context. And hopefully, I would believe 100% all the coaches and the Bear staff know this. It's all about context. You look at the defense ran. They had the safeties up. Maybe it was a blitz. Maybe it's man cover, whatever, and they just got caught. Sometimes that's what happens. You get caught in the wrong, it's not even the wrong. It's luck. You call a play, they call a play, and it just matches up right. So for me, again, I'm all good about balance, but the Saints game in context, I didn't care much that we only ran 7 times. And one of the funny things I will say is commentary overall, as far as the TV commentary, sports media, and fans that just don't have the attention span, it's very enticing. People will make a narrative out of anything and people listen to it. So you got people like, oh yeah, they're running way more, Nagy's running more, and it's all about getting a manageable third down. I did the throws from Trubisky, I did our runs, but you can look at the whole game from the Saints. We had second and short so many times. I'm talking about a good, healthy amount of times we were second and short. It's not like we were passing the ball incomplete, and going 3rd and 10, 3rd and 15. No, we were 2nd and 2 a lot of times. So this whole talk about, yeah, you got to run the ball to be in, short yard. Dude, we were picking up yards. That's why I said I'm not mad about it. Because we picked up yards against the Saints. It was 2nd and 2 because we was getting 8-yard completions on first down. And so, again, in context, not mad about it. This game, again, we ran more. I don't even know if it set the play action up that well. Sometimes it does, but I'm starting to see the trend of being under center. That's a lot more popular right now. But I've always said, since AP was first drafted, football is a game of cycles. People talked about the committee in the backfield and the passing league and all this. Football always continues to be the same. And so now we're back to people in I formation. Why? Because it gives you a good deception of, is it a run, is it a pass? It sets up great play action, and that's the reason they started running it in the first place. So we're just back to where we were. But I think that helped, but I don't know if the run game necessarily set us up for any other big plays, because a lot of our big play action plays was out of the shotgun, and so I don't know if it's the same, but anyway, I would just say overall B minus. There's still some things with the line, but I think the line showed up to play. I do agree that running the ball more gets an attitude adjustment to the linemen when the spotlight is put on them. But yeah, overall, we went to the end zone. How many times? And I'm okay because I always like red zone attempts. Like people, I hear the fans booing. People are mad, like, oh man, we went to the red zone so much and couldn't score. And I get it. You definitely want to have touchdowns over field goals. But at the same time, we weren't even in the red zone mostly last game. And so you got to look at the improvement. That's what I've talked about last week about starting position. And the fact is, most big offenses get good field position by the defense or whatever special teams, and they take advantage of it. We did not take advantage of it today. Again, I don't think we're a contending team. I think we're a competitive team. But the fact is we still have more of those opportunities than we had before. They ended up in field goals, but you'd rather have those opportunities than not. All right, so defense. I'm going to give them a minus. I think we did really well swarming to the ball. And really, they didn't score a lot of points, of course. And the few times they did, let me say this, and this is not going to be popular. Eddie Jackson, to me, is not doing well. And it's not that he's not good. That's a very different thing. But he's not doing well. I pointed out a few plays last week against the Saints. And then this week, the Melvin Gordon touchdown was on Eddie Jackson. Again, I think he's been better with flying through the alley and trying to be aggressive with tackles on like screen plays and all that. But overall, he's not a run defender. And I've said that for a long time. He's just not. And so the way that it was set up against the Melvin Gordon touchdown, we'll go to the film, he was supposed to be in position to make that tackle before it became a touchdown, and he just did not. So there's that. But then, there's the drop pass by Mike Williams, Eddie. And again, it's not that he's not good. What happens is, I feel confident in saying, what happens is he's very confident in his skills. Of course, a lot of DBs and NFL players are. But then the coaches also see the production. They give him more freedom. And I don't know if he's making the right decision. I talked a little bit in the film sessions last year with Amos and Eddie Jackson about how he's able to be a robber sometimes and kind of, make his own play. And with Clinton Dix, I feel like Pagano's letting him do that a lot more because you got a guy that could cover in the back end. And so Eddie Jackson's getting a lot more opportunities to be free to be a robber. And I think he's making poor decisions because there's a lot of people getting behind him. And he's like, yo, I'm fast enough, I can recover. So he's, being a gambler. And if it wasn't for those drops, I think that would have been an issue. So that's one of the things I saw. But overall, my MVP, I don't know if I mentioned it, I didn't. Khalil Mack and Leonard Floyd together. I've said it before. Interior, I still worry about our run, especially without Akeem Hicks, even with Akeem Hicks. But to the perimeter, like, it's not a question. Like, we play great setting the edge. Khalil Mack, elite. Leonard Floyd, excellent at setting the edge, and really, he's become a good run defender. And I know people are like, oh, you take a pick that high, he's supposed to be a pass rusher. Hey, he's being productive, so I'm happy with it. He's not the pass rusher we thought he would be, but, man, he's turned to a good run defender. And so, again, for whatever reason, the Chargers tried to test us on the edge with a few things, and I think we did a great job shutting it down. And then, of course, when it's passing, like we're pretty good. We're athletic. We get to the ball. Sometimes there's mistakes, but for the most part, we get to the ball, especially with our linebackers. So my MVP goes to the two guys on the edge. And overall, I think we did a great job. Like I said, an A minus. A few mental mistakes here and there that cost us some points. But overall, I think we did a good job being a lot more physical than we were last week. So anyway, with all that being said, yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. Go to the comment section. Let me know what you thought about this game. I know I didn't mention the missed field goal at the end, but, that is what it is. But, people are going to be crying, talking about we need a new kicker. But anyway, actually, I want to try a new thing. If you got all the way to the end of the episode, go ahead and put, let's see, put Nagy for president if you got to the end of the episode. So anyway, share it around, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and remember, stay up and bear down.